Welcome back to the 90s, you guys. How are ya?
Wow, you look so much younger than usual, Kelly, Sharon.
Thank
Wow.
you.
Remember,
No
Sharon's 9
moisturize.
years older than I am.
Settle it down, lady. You always have to throw those numbers at a girl.
Yeah, I just
I
like to
guess
keep it real, and people remember that I'm
You
not
know
the
what?
oldest one.
Nobody likes it real, Kelly. Nobody.
You know what's sad is I realized this just I guess probably like about a year ago now. I am the oldest announcer on our station. And so
That
I
is
used
true.
I
Wow.
used to be the middle and or the youngest, and now I've graduated to the top of the rung. So
I'm happy to report that I am not the oldest. I've been there the longest on my station consecutively.
yeah.
But I am not the oldest.
I also
For
hold that
now.
record for consecutive. I also hold that record, so I'll hang on to that one more. That's nice.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It shows a sign of commitment, you know? Or that you were hiding when they were firing people.
Yeah. That's why I
Gotta
was
do
under
what you
the
gotta do.
console.
Yeah. She's agile.
Yeah.
Why is she always under the table? You never know.
She just knows when it's going to happen. Wow.
Exactly. Avoid eye contact.
Yeah. I had a colleague when I worked in Toronto, and I wasn't witness to this, but he told me that he was doing an overnight shift opping. I believe it was on the talk station, and he decided to take a little nap and under the console, but the nap ran long, and I think if memory serves, he was woken up by the morning show producer that came
Oh,
in.
no way.
What
Wow.
down there, fella?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's
That's
getting
not
caught
good.
right there.
Yeah.
I can admit to putting my head down on the like most of the consoles that I've had like a space in front of it, like a little, I don't know, like 8-inch ledge of tabletop, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So you can take notes or put your head down. Which I'm sure you don't tell your boss you're doing, but like on an overnight or something like that. I always found the first overnight into a series of them was like the challenge, because you're coming off your regular life and you're going into the dark side.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, you'd hit the wall at like 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, there's another 3.5 hours. Let me just
So
put my head down for a second.
I'm sitting right in front of that 8-inch spot you're talking about. Let me test it out.
Give that.
All
Yeah.
right.
See?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just comfortable enough that you're not going to actually stay there for a long time, but you can close your eyes for a second.
But it's a dangerous place to hang around.
Yes, it is. Because what if you wake up in a startle and you hit the board, and you hit all the buttons?
It could happen. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, no buttons to worry about today. I think we're good. We're going to talk about the Pinkett Smith offspring. That's a full-on adult, yet not with child. We'll break down that explanation too. It sort of sounds like I'm starting a rumor. He's not with child. He doesn't accept it. Just kidding. We're going to take us to the end of the touring road for one of the all-time greats and some stats to back up what was a really long farewell. Also, Kelly's trivia will test your will, push your memory to places only the 90s would understand. And of course, your 90s rewind will go kind of back to the beginning of it all, to the summer of 1991. And since Queen Bee captivated the crowd in Toronto recently as her tour continues, our own Adam was there for the captivation. Let's start there. Adam,
I've
could
got
you smile any
goosebumps.
bigger?
I couldn't. Okay, here's my piece of trivia for you.
Okay.
How long do you think it took me to start bawling my eyes out during the show?
1 minute.
Wrong,
The first minute
Kelly.
of the first song.
I'll go with lucky number 7.
It was actually the first minute of the second song. It was a hard question, but probably 3-4 minutes in the show, it was just so beautiful. This stage, her dress, her singing. And I just thought of everybody that's worked on the tour. And I went, oh my God, the best people in the world have been working on this tour. And it looks like $1 billion. And I
Wow.
started bawling my eyes out. It was so beautiful. She was great. She was amazing. The show was 2 hours and a half long.
Wow. That's a
And
long stretch.
if I did live in Toronto and did not have to come back to Montreal the following day, and I had a train booked, I would have paid over $500 to go see that show again.
Really?
And I'm not a millionaire. $500 for a show is a lot of money.
It's rent.
I would have paid it again anytime.
We know this. It's a big deal because you work in radio like we do. We know.
Yeah.
We know the riches aren't in radio.
But best $500 I could have invested to see that show again. She was amazing.
Incredible. Okay,
Every
so
aspect of the show was great. Go ahead. Sorry.
what was what was the tipping point? What was the second song that she played that got you 1 minute into that?
It was I think 1+1. Is that the name of the song? 1+1=2.
Yeah.
And it was she's doing her own opening act. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So the lights aren't even all the way down. The screen, poof, 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 a little bit, and she just comes out from the floor and sings 5 songs, piano, vocals, super acoustic. She's in an elegant dress. There's no dancers. There's no nothing. And she's serving the vocals, and she's so good.
He's in love, I think, Kel.
She's so good.
Yeah, that's saying a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty
So,
exciting that you were there.
Mm.
It was, yeah. I mean, I wished I could say more about it and like I've heard this how do they call this? They were saying this about Taylor Swift fans that would literally black out during the show and have no memories whatsoever of the show. And there's a term for that when you're living such a moment of passion and excitement that you completely black out.
Wow.
So I know I was there for the 2 hours and a half of the show. I know I enjoyed every second of it. I know I couldn't take my eyes off her and the huge screens, but I can't remember the whole show. I'm sure there's like there's songs she did. I'm like, oh my God, I don't remember that moment. Or, oh, I don't remember when they did that choreography or whatever. It was just so busy and so emotionally demanding.
That's why I usually try to see Janet shows like 4 times because like you miss.
So it can sink in.
Well, and that's why I wanted to go on the other night. I was like, okay, tomorrow night, I'm not taking a single drink. I'm not screaming at the songs. I'm not singing with her. I'm just, shut up and look and take everything in. I would have loved to do that experience again, the following day.
Did you see Blue Ivy? Did she come out?
Blue Ivy was not there that night.
Oh,
but
okay.
hey, it's okay. It's okay. We can't have it all.
Yeah.
So
she'd been out recently. I know she did some European stuff, but maybe I know it was they were celebrating. Oh yeah, Jay-Z's mom got married over the weekend.
Oh, cool.
So to her partner. And so yeah, like Beyonce was in New York, I believe it was over the weekend. So then she came up to Toronto. Like, so I'm sure by the time like all her gear was in, she probably came in early Saturday or later Saturday, because I think the wedding was on Thursday or Friday of last week. So
wow, that's cool.
But
I'm looking at
Jay-Z was at the
set
concert,
list.
so yeah. You know what's crazy about the set list is
it's long.
It's long. There are barely no hits. She's not doing single ladies. She's not singing Halo. She's not singing what are her
She's singing one of my favorites though, Love on Top.
She did sing Love on Top.
Love it.
So she sang Crazy in Love, Love on Top, Run the World, Formation. And those are pretty much the only 4 hits she sang. And some of the songs I didn't really know. And when there's a show and you don't know the song, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row that you don't know all the songs, it can start becoming a little bit boring, or, okay, I'll go grab a beer. And even though I didn't know a lot of the songs, when I say didn't know, like I didn't know them by heart. It never felt like a dull moment in the show. Well,
she does a Rose Royce cover too in the at the start.
Didn't you do a Tina Turner thank you? Like a
she did. She sang a little pieces of River Deep Mountain High.
Okay.
Yeah. I see this.
So yeah.
How was Break My Soul?
Oh. Oh, I screamed. She she got the booty moving. She had the whole floor dancing. Nobody sat down during the whole show. Nobody from the front row to the nosebleeds. Nobody sat down. It was a huge party.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So happy for you, Adam.
Yeah,
So
you deserve
anyways,
that.
you had to be there. Go on TikTok, look at the videos. It's not as good as it was to be there. But yeah, if Beyonce is coming to your town soon and you're wondering if you should buy that ticket, you should.
Yeah.
Okay.
She did a Destiny's Child song, didn't she?
Well, she's opening with Dangerously in Love.
Oh, so there we
So
go.
that's the first song she does. Yeah.
Okay. There's our 90s connection.
There we go.
You go. Way to tie it in, Kel.
Yeah. And she's
Well,
Beyonce, so it's all good.
She is indeed Beyonce.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Adam. We're happy for you. Thanks for
Thank
bringing a
you.
little bit of that back to us.
You know what's crazy to me is that she is not the richest female musician.
Who is? Taylor Swift?
Rihanna.
Rihanna? Yeah.
Rihanna.
Rihanna
Oh,
is
cool.
worth $1.4 billion.
But most of it is her,
Yikes.
makeup company.
Fashion line, yeah.
Yeah, it's her fashion
Oh,
line.
okay.
And I know
Nice.
together that Beyonce and Jay-Z are over $1 billion together.
Yeah.
And that $200 million pied-à-terre that they just bought in Los Angeles is apparently pocket change for them. And I also heard that that mansion that they bought is going to serve mainly, if this is true or not, I don't know, but as like a place to display their art. So $200 million, not to live
Wow.
there really, more to display all their art.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'll never be that rich.
It's so relatable.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Good for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we can all dream, right? And you know what? I think when they put on, they really put their efforts into committing to leveling up the experience at concerts for fans, that, they're working for it. It's not like nothing.
Oh yeah.
know?
She's working for it.
Well,
Yeah.
Or
She
they're
deserves it.
they're hiring the right people, but they're doing something right.
Yep, indeed. Well, we've got a show full of right things, you guys. 2 of which are coming up right now. Want to do trivia?
Let's do it. Let's get right into it.
90s now. Trivia.
Bing bong.
Bing bong.
So back to the art and literature card.
Oh,
In which
good.
book by Joanne Harris does a single mother open a popular chocolate shop to the annoyance of the local priest?
Sharon?
Go, Sharon.
Chocolat.
You're right. Go, girl.
Wow.
Wasn't that with Johnny Depp? Was he in that
Yes,
movie?
it was. Johnny Depp and a French actress, I believe. Oh my gosh.
Was it the one he ended up marrying? What's her face?
He's been with a lot of
Vanessa.
women, I
Vanessa.
think.
No, she's a singer. Vanessa Paradis was a singer, right?
No, yeah, it's not her.
Was it Juliette Binoche?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like brioche, which you should think of when you think of chocolate and chocolat. So there you are. Thank you.
Was it a
Well,
good
it's
movie?
wait, but it's Binoche. So Binoche or
No,
No,
it's
Binoche.
Binoche. She's French.
Binoche.
French.
Okay, yeah.
Was it a good movie, Sharon?
I believe, yeah, I think I saw it once and I would have seen it then. So a few years ago. Yeah, it was good.
Okay. Fancy.
Because she's got a lovely, a loveliness to her delivery, and he's got such, he's easy to look at. He's a very talented actor too.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. He's so
that
good
was,
at Pirates. Like it's
that was
crazy.
prior to any of the
Shenanigans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Kelly,
yes,
the
sir.
trivia you're giving us, it comes from a 90s trivia box, right?
Yes, sir. Why was that, like in 2001 or something?
Well, that was December 22nd, 2000. So I think the owner of the games have an apology
Must
to
have
do.
ran out of questions.
They must have run out of questions.
They just
Sorry,
dipped into
friends.
the following year.
I really didn't be writing these. I really didn't be. Yeah, I really haven't been writing these questions.
Well, if if we're looking for some validation, they would have filmed it in the 90s.
It's true.
Probably, yeah.
Good one, Sharon. Thanks for saving me.
You're welcome. Dear.
So this is from Hobbies, Toys, and Games.
Oh,
Skip It was
fantastic.
basically a ball on a string, but which body part were you meant to attach it to?
Sharon.
Go, Sharon.
Ankle.
Yes, ma'am. 2 for dose. Good for you.
Boom.
You were too quick for me.
Yeah.
Yep, I know.
That game, you can get a good cardio workout on that thing.
For sure. It turned
Yep.
into sort of like, if you did it fast enough, you could be like a double dutcher, you know, like,
Yeah. And also get dizzy if you're not careful.
and that.
Yeah.
I think we talked about the other game that you said skip it. I'm like, oh, I was like, bop it. Remember that game?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
that before. I love that game. Like,
You have
too
your
much.
serious face on, so I believe you.
It's so, and probably because it's like an addiction. So I'm like, I love the game,
Yeah.
but it's like a drug. Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and I love every minute of it. Even the frustration that follows when you're like, no, I didn't bop it, you know? Anyways. On we go, you guys. Let me just make sure I have my document in line.
And just while you're doing that, let me tell you that Chocolat was actually a novel published in 1999. So
Yay!
there we go.
And wasn't that the angle of your question, though, Kelly, that it had come from a book? Am I remembering that
Yes,
wrong?
actually it was. So maybe the question wasn't wrong, Adam.
So
It was in which book by Joanne Harris? So yes,
Yeah.
so the makers of my cards are not terrible.
Yay. We just started to
So-
focus on the angles of Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
my apologies
Our
to
bad.
the writer of the questions. You were 100% right.
Good job. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Let's call him Bert. Who knows?
Ah, okay.
By the way, just quickly, Megan Trainor recently had baby number dose, baby 2. And so another little boy, and his name is Barry Bruce Trainor. How cool is that?
Neato. After someone or two people?
I'm assuming Barry is probably her dad or granddad or something. And maybe Bruce is like his father's name or vice versa. I don't know. But
That's cool.
I thought that was cool. Barry Bruce Trainor. It sounds like a superhero. Like Clark Kent,
Yeah.
you know? It's
Yeah.
yep.
Nice. So it finally happened, you guys. After a really long time and a pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
to make it even longer, Elton John did his final show.
I don't believe it.
Oh, I do. I
Are
don't
you
think
sure?
he's not. Yeah, I really do. The fact I heard him interview clips the other day of him saying that his priority was his family, which we've heard him say before. But the other thing was like he doesn't like the artists that retire and then decide to tour again. He goes, no, not happening. If that's me, shoot me. So, yeah, there's so many statistics that come along with the end of this yellow brick road
Mm-hmm.
that they come in the millions when it comes to people that have seen it. 330 shows for this tour. And the return home to his husband and sons after what he describes as 52 years of pure joy of making music and bringing it to the people, certainly. But the idea that he got just far enough from it toward the end that the interviews were like that it felt like it was schlepping and that he didn't want to schlep anymore. He'll still make music and he'll still write music and obviously remain a fan of music, but to tour, he doesn't have to do that. And I think as a side note to any of that, I think coming off of the pandemic is that we know how easily you can reach your fans with an online engagement, some sort of streaming event where he could just go to his backyard, which he did,
Mm-hmm.
And play some songs and then go in for lunch. I mean, if he really wanted to get that connection to his fans back by playing a song or two, he could have that at any time, but not having to assemble everybody and make sure that everything's set and just travel and be away from your home and your people, because you have to respect that your people have lives also. It's a lot. It's a great undertaking, and certainly it's appreciated by the millions of people that got to see this tour, myself included. But at his age, well placed in his 70s, you can see that, like, okay, I don't have to do this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'll miss him. We were playing actually some clips on our show this morning, and like I could have listened to it all day.
Mhm.
Like Elton, I've seen Elton John probably 5 or 6 times in my life, and every single time it's great.
How many albums has he put out during his
97.
career.
100. 132. Many. And he's had recent ones too. He likes making music. He likes writing.
Well, what was
He
cool
likes collaborating.
for me is that like on the pop station, I got to give him a shout out on Saturday.
Ooh, yeah.
Because we're still playing his Dua Lipa track and his Britney song.
I love that.
So
I love that. That Dua Lipa track is amazing.
it's amazing. And so I actually was playing that one. So coming off the back end of that, and I don't normally on our stage, I don't normally go backwards. Like we're always pushing forwards, but I said like, hey, like I need to give him a shout out. And so over 4,000 concerts he's done since the 70s.
Wow.
And he's beaten Ed Sheeran's record of most return for tour, $900 million. The previous record was Ed Sheeran was 776 million, I think. So Elton John at 76 years old blew him out of the water with that. So
and that's like now. So his tour stops now. It's July, and it's Taylor Swift's tour that continues. So is she not the one that's sort of coming up?
well, this was like the overall record of all time for
got it.
Yeah, so he's brought in $900 million, I guess, with this tour, and Ed hit the previous record of 776 million.
Okay.
So we'll see. I think Taylor's either gonna, I think, come close to Ed or maybe pass him too. I don't know if she'll come up to 900 million, but I mean, she is doing big stadiums also, so we'll see.
Are we talking profits or?
It's supposed to be profits, yeah, 900 million.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Pretty incredible. Yeah, I'm happy for him, and I really
for us.
I think that yeah.
You
know what, that we had the chance to see him when we did, and I really think that we'll get more from him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he said he was taking a break and then he's going to decide what else he's going to do. So and by the way, as of the recording of this show, we have news on Madonna, which I don't think I brought to Sharon's attention. Did you see this, Sharon and Adam?
More of a pause button on the tour.
She put out a statement.
I saw that this this afternoon. Yeah,
on her Instagram.
Oh,
so she's going to keep the European leg to start in October. They're going to reschedule North America.
Wow.
And she had a really great statement on her Instagram, which everybody will have read by the time you're hearing this. But she shared a recent picture of herself, and she does look like she's just come through the ringer, but she also looks like she's determined and heading in the right direction. So
she looks like herself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the interesting thing. She's not made up. She's obviously camera ready on some level.
Yeah.
But she looks like herself.
Mm-hmm.
And it just proves, I think, that anything that anybody's been chirping at her for, whatever her look or whatever, like it's part of the creative process for her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, kind of settle down, man.
Yeah.
Like, leave her be.
Yeah. I don't have tickets yet for said tour, but I'm going to work my butt off somehow to figure it out to get there when it does get.
We do have tickets for Adam does too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm the lone wolf who sold her kidney to go see another show earlier this year. So. Yeah.
Yeah. We made a priority of a couple of things. It's been an expensive year, but you know what? Like, if this is how you want to spend your money, then do it.
And I feel like concerts are, for it all, it depends for everybody, but it's a valid way to spend that well-earned money.
Yeah. Well, it's
sure.
We talk about on our station, making life experiences for people.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Sharon's doing that also, and you too, Adam, on yours. But yeah, it's funny because at first I don't know that it resonated with me when we first started talking about this a few years ago for us, but now like I know what it means to me to go to a Janet concert. Like I already knew that anyways, but just now knowing too, like, it's like they're not in their 20s anymore. So how much longer are you going to have a chance to go see, XYZ?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, yeah, like it might be expensive, but oh well.
Worth it.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Plus, I got to see Vin Diesel, so that was cool.
Well, you got that going on.
I got that as a bonus.
You never know what's going to happen at the show. There you go.
What was the other thing we were going to talk about? That was the Pinkett Smith connection.
Yes, yes,
And the
yes.
fact that Jaden, right,
Mhm.
is 25 years old.
How did that happen? I still think he's like 11.
Wild. Yeah, the little baby. Cute little baby's 25
How old
years
did
old.
you say he is now? 25?
25.
Wow.
Yeah.
25 in Espanol. Thanks. That's my
Hey.
practice. Yep.
Well, the fun quip that that Will Smith made was like, "Hey, you don't have any kids yet."
Yep.
Because he was what, 25, and he had a toddler.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
saying
But did you see what his mother-in-law wrote?
his mother-in-law.
Yeah, so he said that, and I guess he put that in his social media post to Jaden, and then his
Mhm.
mother-in-law wrote, "Yeah, he's smart," meaning like he didn't have a kid yet. So
That's funny.
so yeah, grandma was in on that. Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, good for him. He's doing pretty well for himself, isn't he?
Yeah, doesn't he have his own fashion line? I think so.
He's very handsome.
He's very handsome. Him and Willow are, and I've only heard great things about how creatively talented Willow is.
Yeah.
Like with songwriting and with like how she does vocals, and a lot of people want her to do like collabs with them, and like Miley. I believe she was with
Mhm.
Miley on that song, one of the songs. So
Nice.
yeah. Oh, and just
Nice.
sidebar before you get to your rewind, Sharon, I cannot understand, and we talked about this on my show, why so many audience goers are throwing things at artists these days.
What the heck is
It
going on
happened
with
to
that?
Harry Styles
Harry
today.
Styles was
Yeah,
the
I saw
latest
that.
one, and he actually like was doubled over in pain at one point. So it's like, and Drake got hit with the cell phone, and BB Rexa, who I love, by the way, she's a rock star. I've had the chance to interview her. She's super cool. She ended up with a black eye and stitches because somebody threw a phone at her.
I have a
And then
question.
because they thought it was funny, right? Like that's
Well,
not
they
funny.
said that they wanted, I think, like, you know, that like she was gonna maybe do something with the phone. But like my 2 points are, and Adam, I'm gonna get to you in a second. But like, first of all, do you think they're just gonna stop the show and like do a selfie with you, like, you morons? And then B, why are you throwing your cell phone at the art? You're never gonna see that cell phone again, and cell phones are expensive. So why would you even part with your property? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
I always thought that about bras.
Yeah.
You know, for the old timer rock stars of the like 60s and 70s, like the Rolling Stones, that got bras thrown on stage. I'm like, those cost a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not fun to bra shop. I don't care what anybody tells you.
Yeah.
It's not fun. So like you're taking the effort of having to get a bra in the first place and a lot of money to pay for it, to throw it on stage. Like, what?
Yeah.
But
I told
how
you
are
my Rolling
those?
Stone story though, right?
Sorry, Sharon?
I told you my Rolling Stone story about the bras?
No, you did not.
No.
I'll tell you in quick fashion. I went to 2 shows because 2 different friends had tickets back when they were here in Montreal, like I think it was early 2000s, maybe late 90s. Anyways, back-to-back nights. Went with one person, sat in this area, next night, different area. And they had like a little satellite stage off of a catwalk, so that they went and they did some of the really older 60s stuff. It was like, you know, tiny jam space for the Rolling Stones. Super cool. And then at that point, someone flings a bra on the stage. I'm like, impressive. They're still flinging bras. That's cool. And off they go. So great show. Next night, go back, different vantage point, sitting in a different area, but I still am able to see that little satellite stage. And they come out the catwalk. They start and someone flicks a bra. I'm like, that's peculiar. That back-to-back nights in the same time that someone's gonna, let go of their bra, of their prize purchase, of, like I said, the annoyance of having to shop for one and spending all the money on it, but at the same time in 2 different shows. So I'm like, that's not happening. So I was sure they had like a bra flinger on the payroll.
Probably.
And then I thought, that's sad, because if I had just seen the one show, I would have thought, wow, they still got it. They're still flinging bras at them. Next night, I'm like, wow, that's sad. They think that people are going to get a kick out of seeing a bra flicked, which I did.
Which you
Now
did.
they've done it twice. And this was very pre-social media, so you get away with stuff like that. Now it wouldn't last like a night,
That's
anyway.
Hilarious. There was a bra plant.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what
Clever
I'm on
idea
tour with the
though.
Rolling Stones. What do you do for them? I'm in charge of bras.
Yeah.
I fling them.
Yeah. Adam, your point. Go.
I was just wondering, how are people getting away with throwing the phones? Like, let's say, okay, I'm at the Beyonce concert the other day. If I see whoever's standing next to me throw his phone or whatever object and Beyonce and hit her in the face, I'm gonna hit you in the face.
This is
Like,
serious
how
business. I can see in
how
your eyes.
effing dare you
Yeah.
throw something at this amazing artist on stage trying to, just give a show?
Yeah.
I agree with you.
So that's
It doesn't make
I'm
sense,
gonna
and it's a
calm
weird.
down.
It's a weird trend though. Like, why are people going? Like, people hear the story and then they go, "Ah, I'm gonna throw it."
Yeah.
You know, like
it's-
Pink had a baggie of someone's ashes
Yeah. It's so
tossed
weird.
up on her stage. That's beaucoup. Like,
It wasn't thrown. It wasn't thrown like physically
no,
at
but still.
her. Like,
But
if
like,
you're gonna throw it on the stage, it still sucks. But like,
what if the baggie breaks? What if you don't have like, a top-notch
You're right.
Ziploc? You know?
You imagine like that mom,
Ugh.
right? So obviously she's up in heaven or whatever, but like if she's looking down and she's like, "Well, there you have it, my final resting place," and a piece of like 8 by 10 or like a 4 by 8 or whatever that's gonna get flung onto the arena floor after. Like, is somebody gonna hoover that up? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes. It's not the respectful process you
it's
were
like-
hoping for.
Yeah, because like, for example, my mother's already like requested of me. She's like, I want a bit of me on this mountaintop, and then you're gonna put a bit of me next to this lake. And I'm like, okay, that's enough places that we're putting you, thanks.
Yeah.
But like, imagine
Uh.
like you're just on this like board that's part of the stage that's gonna be put in a truck. Like, you don't even have a resting place. You're dust. Like, it's over. So
The whole idea that Pink's response to them in the moment had her voice sort of quiver, like, I don't know if I'm comfortable with this. I wouldn't be either.
no,
Gross.
yeah,
Oh well. Well, how about we wrap it up, you guys, with the 90s rewind?
let's do it.
let's do it.
Do it. Let us go back to the palindrome year of 1991. Same forwards as
Oh.
backwards. And for this endeavor, I can tell you, I should just like drop names on you, but it was just this little snapshot of a handful of songs, like Lenny Kravitz, "It Ain't Over Till It's Over."
Mm.
What? Just so good. The summer of 91 sounded fantastic. The depth with which Mark Cohn took us when he was walking in Memphis.
Oh,
Yet at the
nice. I
same
forgot
time,
about that one.
imagine that. And then to be very present right here, right now with Jesus Jones.
Nice.
Come on. And of course, if you were in a hurry, you were in a rush.
Ooh.
Wasn't that creepy? Didn't that sound creepy?
Yeah.
Rush. Paula Abdul was actually topping the charts for this handful of songs for your 90s rewind that'll wrap up quite perfectly with the aforementioned Fresh Prince and DJ Jazzy Jeff in summertime.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Good job, Sharona. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
That's it. That's your 90s rewind. Nice little flashback to a great summer soundtrack.
I got a question for you
Yes.
Bring it on.
just before we move forward, because you mentioned the palindrome year.
Yeah.
And I never heard of a year being described as such. So I researched the next palindrome year. Who's going to
Let me
guess what it
guess.
is?
After that one was 2002.
Okay, but my question wasn't
Next
clear.
one
After
upcoming?
2002, yeah. From the
Uh,
next one from today is going to
I
be.
believe it's going to be the title of a Rush album, 2112.
Wow, look at you. Okay.
Boom.
We all won't be here for that.
We
No,
probably
we
will
won't.
not be here.
I'll miss you all.
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll be in 90s now heaven. Yeah.
There you go.
Oh.
Doesn't
Here
that
we
sound like
are.
a fun place to be with all the best music and the hammer pants?
Yeah. Audience question quickly.
Bring it on.
Here we go. So they want all of our opinions on this. In the 90s, there was like, I'm sure obviously there was many genres that were successful in the 90s, but
Mhm.
I think a prevalent would be hip hop and R&B was very prevalent in the 90s, as was Seattle grunge.
Right.
So, or just grunge in general, alternative music. So question is, which genre do you think actually had the biggest influence on that decade?
I think, wow, that's a tough one because I think they all had some kind of punch. Like, On the decade, that's a tough one between for me between grunge and hip hop for sure.
Mhm.
I
But I
feel
would say
like
hip hop over that.
I would say hip hop also.
I'm biased because, well, Sharon could be biased by this too, but at the station I work at, we play a lot of grunge and, rock
Yep.
towards, like, we do play a lot of Nirvana and Pearl Jam,
Yeah.
we don't play a single hip hop track. So I would have went for grunge for the 90s, but I feel like the hip hop might have had a bigger impact on what was to come after the 90s. You
Yeah,
know
well,
what I
that's
mean?
I think that too. I think 90s R&B and 90s hip hop set the bar for many people that either came at the tail end of that decade and now. Like, and I think there's been a resurgence of like what that 90s was. And even just seeing Busta Rhymes get his recent award and like telling the generation now to step up. And I feel like they need to step up and produce the quality lyrically of what was coming out in the 90s, as opposed to just like, here I am in my, Ferrari and my, $97,000 gold chain or whatever. You know what I mean? I just feel like there was more lyricism that counted in the 90s.
Gotta matter, man.
But
yeah.
Honest question, because I wasn't there in the 90s, well, not aware of what was going on. Which one was bigger in the 90s, grunge or hip hop? Or there's really no way to tell. They were just the two big.
They were both impactful, both of them, because what grunge did, it just sort of reminded everybody that you didn't have to get so complicated with rock. It was just, great enough at its roots to just, turn it up a little bit and strum a little harder. It didn't lack for quality or even substance. They were dealing with a lot and bringing it forward, I think. I mean, I think the same could be said for hip hop. I think the soundtrack, in my opinion, coming off of hip hop in general, sort of really brought light and attention to a reality that no one was singing about, certainly, but not because it didn't need to be sung about. And so I think it was important that it was brought forward. Like, oh, okay, well, it really was quite a reality check when you think of substance and content, what those artists were bringing forward, and they weren't necessarily making top 40 charts, but that almost was like who cares about top 40 charts? This is important music to listen to. I think it was a great a tool for learning and for teaching generations about, not even just like the current generation. I think older people stood to learn a great deal, and people coming up. I think it provides a great resource. So I stand by my hip hop claim.
Cool.
Yeah, bro.
And you know more than I do, so I'll switch my side and go to your side.
But grunge, you know what? I read this great quote the other day from Stephen Pearcy of Rat, who talked about, he said it wasn't just grunge that killed hair metal, that hair metal had gotten to a point by the early 90s that there was so much replication, like there was he said what he called mini Motleys and mini Rats, that the record company sort of saw that, it was to have that kind of really big sounding rock music, swirling guitar solos and high harmonies and stuff like that. It was all very good, but once you see that that's successful, a record company will then say, well, let's get more of that if it's so successful. So you just sort of, it becomes like a mill, right? Like a hit making mill. So grunge comes around and it's somewhat more, not cutthroat, but like straight ahead, no BS. It was boom, right at it. And that combined with the fact that hair metal was sort of killing itself, grunge sort of, I think, sealed the deal. It wasn't all grunge that killed it, as Stephen Pearcy of Rat was saying. It was sort of, we had already done it to ourselves.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's
now
enough.
We know.
Yep.
Is it ever enough of us, Kel? I'm not sure. Great to see you guys as always. And to everyone, thank you for staying in touch. We appreciate it. Ultimately, we're happy that you find us wherever it is that you do, listening to us and taking us along for your ride, whatever your ride is. Thank you very much for listening to 90s Now. Still happening.